one-time lovely Gare Maritime, where the Normandy and Queen Mary used to dock, is now a shambles. Vessels in the harbour have been sunk to act as block ships in a hurried attempt to prevent free access to the Allies. Through the cathedral-like arches has crashed the clock tower. This is a sample of the tangle of destruction which faces the naval salvage squads and repair parties already across the channel restoring the harbour facilities.
This rare film shows a vital aspect of the D-Day landings, the transportation of locomotives to France on board HMS Twickenham out of Southampton. She was the sister ship of HMS Hampton and HMS Shepperton. The British ships were fitted with rear rolling crane for the duration of the war that enabled them to place locomotives weighing more than 60 tons directly onto rails on the quayside. The ferry's full load was 16 locomotives and 20 trucks. The first delivery to Cherbourg was on the 30th of June 1944, only 4 days after it was captured. The French railway infrastructure was largely destroyed or rendered ineffectual. A high percentage of the bridges and rails were wrecked. Few water facilities and pumps were intact. There was no coal, no electricity or signal system and phone line. In the yards, the switches and the rail forks were dynamited, preventing their use. The railway battalions were forced to start from scratch. They had to build their own tools and then develop facilities. Many were primitive but ingenious. In several areas, local fire departments were called out to furnish water for the locomotives. By July the 31st, the rail line from Cherbourg to Avranches was open, but far from totally functional. A measure of the importance of this work can be gauged by the message received from the Third Army. General Patton has broken through and is striking rapidly for Paris. He says his men can get along without food, but his tanks and trucks won't run without gas. Therefore, the railroad must be constructed to Le Mans by Tuesday midnight. Today is Saturday. Use 1 man per foot to make repairs if necessary. The 347th and 322nd Engineer General Service Units had just 75 hours to open a 135-mile-long rail line. 5 bridges were down. The most serious was an 80-foot span at Saint-Hilaire-de-Harquy. But they were supported by elements of the 392nd, 390th and 95th Engineer Regiments, roughly a total of 9,000 men. With 6 hours remaining before the deadline, 31 gasoline-loaded trains left at 1900 hours on the 14th and began crossing the Saint-Hilaire-de-Harquy bridge at midnight. For its efforts, the 740th was to bring the first train into Paris on August the 30th.